his head, and there he goes. Abyss gonna clean him up.
Olaf goes down. Everyone's just gonna line up here for Lazzy. He's gonna find himself the Quadra. Give it to him. Pentakill.
Priestley with the quad feet.
Gets the ace. Available just spin to win all over.
That game was insane.
Hello, Saints Nation. Welcome back to the Saints Gaming CA channel as we are about to just get started with a Collegiate League of Legends matchup against the University of Waterloo versus St. Clair College, of course. My name is Dan Banner, also known as Mr. Danners. Joining me for the very first time here on the cast, we have Eileen O'Connell. Eileen, how are you doing?
I'm great, thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me here. I'm glad to be here and looking forward to tonight's game, tonight's match.
Absolutely.
Like it's going to be a good one.
Absolutely. And looking at the teams themselves, this is going to be an interesting one, like you said, because taking a look at some of the ranks anyway is a little bit interesting, to say the least. Of course, for our squad here on the St. Clair side, our lowest player ranked is a Platinum, and then our highest is a Diamond 1. Looking at the side of University of Waterloo, they are loaded with diamonds, and they have a master as well currently for this season, unless it's the TFT ranks baiting me. But that's always a possibility, of course. But still, looking forward to this one. In theory, and on paper, I think St. Clair should be the underdogs, but it won't be by much. So we should very well have a very exciting matchup for your very first broadcast here with us tonight.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
Good. Definitely looking forward to it as well. We got the players into the lobby, just getting a couple people sorted out real quick. But a couple things that I do want to look at in regards to the Saints team compositions. Of course, we had the opportunity to see League of Legends team a couple times each week now, which is definitely quite the difference compared to past semesters. So now we actually kind of know what some of the champions are that the team might be picking up. Like Kubra, I know as soon as we turned on the stream, somebody hopped into the chat and was like, where's the Gnar? Gnar, give me the Gnar. Because, of course, that's Kubra's go-to up into the top lane. But, of course, could very well pull something else different out. Looking forward to seeing what Active Force, Frez, Lazzy, and Miazfo can pull out as well. But I'm also kind of nervous looking at the side of the University of Waterloo, of course, because we are going to introduce the squad, actually. We do have Xenoblade Guy up in the top lane, Dark X in the jungle, Quatch, or Quatch Daddy, in the mid lane, YNS on the AD carry role alongside Shinoa. And other than the ranks that I see on screen, I know absolutely nothing about them, to be completely honest with you. So it'll be a little bit of a mystery for us to figure out here tonight.
Yeah, that's two of us then.
Absolutely. Sometimes is the way of Collegiate, where things tend to be a little bit more of a mystery. But we are going to be right around the corner, actually, for our first pick and ban phase. So without further ado, I want to throw out a couple thank yous to start things off. First, of course, being the sponsors. Of course, big thank you to St. Clair College, the Zeckelman School of Business and IT, EC Outlet, St. Clair College Alumni Association, Tim Hortons, and the St. Clair SRC. Of course, the St. Clair Saints varsity sports team would not be possible without your help, so thank you for your support. Then, of course, a big thank you to everybody who's already tuning in here to the broadcast. Always a pleasure having match after match, crazy months at a time where there's like a match that feels like every single day of the week, which actually will be very shortly. But so much esports action, and now, Eileen, you get your piece of it here tonight. Now, in regards to League itself, so how long personally have you been involved in League, whether it be playing or watching it casually? Like, how long have you been into the scene?
Not too long, thanks, Dan. It just, piqued my interest when I started at St. Clair in the esports program. And I played a little bit there. Not saying I'm a great player, definitely not ranked. But I find that the gameplay has a good level of complexity for me. So I really do enjoy watching.
Absolutely, and definitely awesome, especially like since you're in the esports program and whatnot. I'm sure a lot of these esports titles are like either for the first time showing up or like you're saying, like touched on, but maybe not ranked, but that's a-okay, as we are actually about to hop in to the pick and ban phase for game number 1. The wait is over. Let's see what happens here. Looking at the matchup, of course, between St. Clair College and University of Waterloo. First bans on the board. The Camille going to be taken away from Xenoblade Guy. Not going to let him have that. And no Gator. No Gator for Kubra. Gonna take the Gragas off the board as well. Looks like you're, of course, just overall rather dominant champion right now. Same thing with the Olafs. Constantly seeing Olaf in the jungle. So take him off the board. And curious to see how St. Clair will take it off next. Sure enough, Udyr. We've been seeing this a lot more often during pro matches and in Collegiate as well. Just becomes an unstoppable like bullet, basically. Try and deal with. It's an absolute nightmare for AD carry players. Fair enough, taking the Kai'Sa away, what you often will see is whoever is on the blue side, they tend to first pick that Kai'Sa over to their AD carry, and we know Lassie is quite strong with that champion. So, wise of the University of Waterloo to take that away. But they left Active Forces Nunu. Okay, this will be cool then. Guys, we did get to see it a little bit. I believe it was on Monday. And had a fantastic early game start. But one thing that I'm going to be worried about watching the St. Clair team today is the 2 games they had on Monday versus Wichita Wolves. They got themselves a very strong lead early. And then they absolutely just spilled it all over spaghetti, like all over the ground during the mid-game. And we gotta hope for the St. Clair side of things they picked that one back up in terms of practice. Felios and Thresh going to be the first picks. Just gonna straight up pick the bot lane this time here for University of Waterloo. No surprises, so now Miensfo and Lassie can pick whatever they want, knowing exactly where those champions are going. And this might be a first if this gets locked in. This is going to be the first time we're going to see Lassie pick up Jinx, a personal favorite of mine. But for the longest time, you just don't ever really see her, considering she does a ton of damage, but she has to really like stand still. She doesn't really have a lot of mobility in team fights, which a lot of these assassins can really cause a problem for. And then that last one is definitely a Miensfo pick if I have ever seen it. Picking up the Leona. See him time and time again. Helps his bot lane, helps his mid lane. He's all the way up in the top lane sometimes. Just because you're the support down in the bot lane doesn't mean you have to stay there. And Miensfo will be looking to make some plays in this match. Now the Graves and the Anivia taken off the board here. Malphite as well. So Graves has just been consistent, to say the least, here for jungler picks. Relatively strong. The Anivia banned away from Frez. Frez absolutely loves playing that champion. Basically picks it up whenever he can. Hoping for Anivia buffs. But right now, Waterloo going to take that one away. No Hecarim either for the junglers as well. So we're going to have to dig deep into that jungler pool, considering so many of them have gotten banned away. And Nidalee might be the selection here. That might be Dark X picking up that character, or that hero champion. So many terminologies, and still just stumbling away. Oh, don't you dare. Of course, this character, brand new to League of Legends. And are they going to test my knowledge how frequently I keep track of these things? Oh my god, they did it. Okay. So I'm laughing at this one because on our Twitter, our marketer, Chris, is like, he put Jax originally in a thumbnail. He's like, oh, I bet you won't pick Jax, or come on, pick Jax for me. Saints never did. So now they picked in the thumbnail, it's like, oh, they put Kiana in there. It's like, oh, I bet you won't pick Kiana. Thing is, that's Frez's like favorite champion of all time. So now that's getting picked up alongside the Mordekaiser here. So the Saints lineup all set up and ready to go. It's just a matter of figuring out what is left on the University of Waterloo side of things. And Aatrox going to be locked in. So full teams exposed, ready to go here. Gonna run it down here and see who's playing what. So this is going to be the first time that we get to see a good handful of these champions actually here. Cooper 3 going to be picking up the Mordekaiser for the first time all season. Active Force, I mean, it's Active Force and his Nunu. It's just a standard thing. Frez, first time we're seeing him on Kiana, but it's definitely, like I said before, it was a favorite of his. So looking forward to seeing how he pilots that champion. Lazy on the Jinx for the first time this season, and then Yensfo picking up Leona. No real surprise there. On the side of the University of Waterloo, we do of course have Xenoblade Guy. Sure enough, Xenoblade's got big swords. You're going to pick a champion with a gigantic sword. Aatrox going to be pick there. Nidalee for Dark X, Galio for Quatch, Aphelios for YNS, and then Thresh is going to be played by Shinoa. So champions are all picked. Now it's just a matter of waiting on the delay. Looking forward to the match at hand, as it should, in theory, be quite the brawly matchup. And
Yeah.
is there anything that you've you noticed with this champion select that you're like interested in seeing there, Lee?
I'm just interested in seeing how our St. Clair Saints do tonight, because I did watch the match you were referring to the other night, and they did get off to a really good start, and then all of a sudden they were just like not that great, and then the last moment came back up, and I was like, wow, that was pretty exciting. So there were different champions then, so it'll be interesting to see how they perform with these ones tonight. Having never watched Waterloo, that will be interesting for me as well.
Man, I tell you what, this Saint squad, if they're good at anything, it's absolutely giving me a heart attack day in and day out whenever it's streaming their matches, because they like you did say there, from the fact that in that Monday match where it looked like they should have just been able to run it, like have a 25-minute game nice and quick, clean it up. No, they tossed it in the mid game. They got caught out a bunch of times. And then it always came down to one team fight, which as a viewer standpoint and the commentary standpoint, absolutely exciting. But in terms of efficiency and like actually like improving your record, you're definitely rolling the dice with that kind of style. So I know Shadi Zedmental, the coach of the league team, has been stressing to make sure that their mid game has been cleaned up. And we'll have to see if that does come to fruition here tonight versus Waterloo, because they're going to need it. Waterloo are no slouches.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be a good one tonight.
Sure, for sure. Just a couple moments, of course, still until we do hop into the matchup. I know personally, one thing other than seeing how the Saints managed to clean up their mid game and how that ends up going down, one thing I'm interested in, of course, is seeing Frez's Kiana. It's the first time we're actually seeing it in a competitive setting other than like ranked solo queue, because for the longest time Zeddy was just like, no, you're not playing this champion. The coach before that, Blazin, it's like, no, you can't play this champion, it doesn't fit. Even now I don't necessarily think Kiana fits right now in the meta, but you never know with somebody as experienced on the champion like Frez's. Looking forward to seeing how he turns that one up. He's going up against Quatch's Galio, however. Whereas Galio, very, very tanky boy. You're not going to be blowing him up very quickly. So I'll have to see, because I know Frez likes to get aggressive, but that champion pick might shut it down. Just loading into the swing of things, of course. Oh, I am sounding exhausted, but I am extremely excited for the match at hand. Do not get me wrong. It's just been an absolute crazy bunch of days of back-to-back casts, but I am not complaining in the slightest. And if we're going based off of skins, Saints have more skins, so they should in theory get the win, right? That's what Riot would like you to think, so you buy more skins. But no, that's not how this works here, and we're going to see just a second hopping in. Of course, big thank you to everybody already tuning into the match. Looking forward to this one between St. Clair and the University of Waterloo. And it's the first time also getting to see the Lassie hyper carry Jinx if this one can actually go in his favor. He's been doing a fantastic job all season. Pretty much every game I see, he's in a position where he's getting like anywhere to 8 to 15 kills. Is an absolute machine in regards to getting eliminations. But here we have it. Enough lollygagging on my ends here. Let's actually get some action. Game number 1 underway. So I'm going to ask you a question here, Eileen. Do you think that we're going to get an early brawl? Level 1, just charge at it? Or do you think they're going to just stay to the wayside and maybe just play it nice and safe?
I think until they see how Waterloo is going to do, what they're going to do, I think that we might see it be that they take their time about it. No, just kind of sussing each other out.
Definitely.
I see we're all...
And definitely fair enough. It looks like the Saints are doing exactly what you were saying, where they were going to take it nice and safe. We do see what I would call the line of scrimmage, where there's one person of the Saints basically at all openings of the river. However, looking at the side of Waterloo, they're kind of grouped up right here. This makes me think that they want to go for an invade of some sort, charge on in. But it does actually look like maybe it is going to be a fake. Not going to end up doing it. They're going to bait me in this situation. And we're going to go pretty much business as usual with Dark X probably going to start at that blue buff. Or actually, no, he went back with Xenoblade guy. My bad. So yeah, he's going up to the top to get the red buff first. And then it looks like Active Force will be doing the same. Crawling all the way back to the bot side to go get that red buff. One thing I'm definitely going to be worried about here is this bot lane. Of course, since YNS and Shinoa don't have to help the jungler get the buff to get him boosted and get him moving, they're going to be in lane first, which could, in theory, let them kill some more minions quicker, which would then give them level 2 faster, and then would allow them to have more abilities, in turn making things much more aggressive, give them a bit of an opening, maybe try and take a chunk out of Miensfo and Lassie. But speaking about chunks getting taken here, this Kiana is getting beat on pretty early here into this laning phase, already down to about half of its HP, forced, I think, to use a potion.
I didn't see if there was any potion taken there, Dan, but I did see it was a little bit slow there.
Oh, no, not quite. Sure enough, right there, we did see the bot lane from the side of the University of Waterloo. They did hit level 2 first, but because the way the minions were, they were just getting ready to shove in to the Saints. It actually kind of blocked whatever plan they were trying to do, so they could not get aggressive in the slightest. So any sort of big damage that the Saints were worried about may go to the wayside. You do see, okay, Frez is starting to trade a little bit better in that mid lane now too. Just get himself 2 levels, and now he's going tit for tat there with Quatch Daddy. Well, Active Force making an appearance up in the top lane. We did see on Monday, basically, Active Force might as well set up a damn tent in that top lane. Was always there with Kubra, constantly making ganks, and was very successful at getting Kubra up ahead. Or, to be honest, like, he's mainly supposed to be the tank here and take up as much damage as possible. However, you get him ahead, I mean, he could still do a bunch of damage too and just become an additional threat that the University of Waterloo has to worry about. Okay, some big damage coming out here actually on to YNS. He may be forced to burn the flash. He is in fact going to have to do so. not going to be ignited anymore. The slow onto Shinoa. One more shot. Lassie going to find first blood. Miensfo setting him up nicely. And where's that teleport coming? Why in the world? This is a bit of an overextension, I think, here from Quatch Daddy. Miensfo nearly getting taken down, but Quatch nearly going down as well. YNS is so low, it may be a bad idea. Kubra makes the teleport play as well. YNS goes down, and the bot lane from the University of Waterloo is in shatters. How Miensfo managed to get out of there with his life is beyond me, but very nicely done, nonetheless there. Considering there's so many teleports blown too. Like Xenoblade guy, I think he tried to go in, but he must have gotten stunned out or something, because I don't recall. Or no, he may have used a teleport to go back to lane actually. So, like Quatch Daddy went in, was already like half health though, so by the time he showed up in that bot lane, Lassie and Miensfo just basically turned and burned him. In perfect fashion. Now YNS, seeing his partner in trouble, felt obligated to kind of come back into the fight even though he was low himself. And Kubra just grabs him, pulls him aside, and gives him a whack for his troubles. And now that's going to be 2 kills in the favor of St. Clair. Now with the 1 kill and the 1 assist into the pocket of that bot lane for St. Clair, they could do a bunch of damage. Meanwhile, a bunch of damage actually coming out here from Quatch Daddy. I always keep forgetting how much damage the Galio can do. But now Actiforce, he may have got himself a little bit greedy. He's going to be hooked on in. Dark X going to find himself the kill in this spot. But now Lassie and Miensfo, they might have to run here. As much as Lassie probably wants to fight this, considering he'd do a ton of AoE damage, it may be too little too late. He's going to actually make a run for it, however, right through the team after picking up another kill onto YNS. And he's going to be able to get out by the skin of his teeth. A good decision to just straight up commit to the attack. And of course, when Jinx gets a part of a kill or an assist, she gets all hyped up and just gets a massive speed boost, which was able to get her out of dodge, the hit and run, and make YNS's life just that much more difficult.
Seeing what we're gonna get to here.
I do have ourselves a bit of a standstill as of this moment, of course. There is a dragon available if one of the teams do want to opt for it, but they probably want to find themselves some sort of opening before actually making their way to it. Don't want to find themselves in a spot where they can go 5-on-5. I mean, St. Clair probably doesn't mind, considering they have the lead right here, right now, and it is on their carry, of course, on to Lassie. So we know that the Saints have damage. And, of course, Waterloo knows that, too. They really do not want to deal with that. As we see Actiforce making another trip to the top lane to make Xenoblade Guy's life a little bit difficult. And Miensfo, remember how I was saying that he's supposed to be bot lane, but he still shows up top on occasion? Well, he's going to come on up there and help secure that kill, root him into place. And now, that top turret is looking juicy.
And Dark X is coming in now to try and fight back. Here comes some more from Waterloo. Let's see if they can save it.
Oh, they're going to try and do everything they can to actually stop this. However, it doesn't look good for them. It's going to be Actiforce finding the 1 kill on the Quatch Daddy. Or actually, it's Cooper finding Quatch Daddy. But now, Actiforce extremely low, baited, going to get absolutely smoked by Kubra. And Xenoblade's guy is going to go down as well. Triple kill over to Kubra 3. He has 5 kills already, and it's not even 10 minutes. Oh, wise choice there from Active Force as well. He killed off a bunch of the members. Might as well go for the Rift Herald. Of course, drop him into a lane and he will absolutely demolish turrets with a solid, strong headbutt. Basically takes half the health of a turret in like one shot, so it's absolutely valuable to get that. Active Force, we'll see where he decides to use that as well. It can also be used as a bit of a baiting tactic if they want to put the Rift Herald into one lane. Make Waterloo deal with that as they then go take the dragon or something like that. It's always possible here. And one of the things
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to mention that one of the things that I mentioned earlier during while we were setting up for the broadcast was how the Waterloo squad, sure they have like a couple diamonds, sure they have a Masters player, but it is extremely crazy how much different the ranked solo queue environment is compared to this Collegiate team's 5-on-5 environment, where like coordination strategies are just that much more prevalent compared to ranked solo queue or dual queue, where you're just hoping to God that your teammates just don't throw.
He just got a level up.
And keeping himself all tied up at least there. He may be hurting in regards to having no kills or no assists, but at least he's been able to keep up on the level fronts, so his abilities are going to be at least that much, or even, to say the least, compared to Frez's. And of course, nicely done there from Active Force, being able to clean that dragon up without any contest. And we are going to go tower diving. Let's see what happens here. Shinoa is going to get pretty much blown up to smithereens with one more shot. It is going to go down. It's going to be Frez who does take that out. Unfortunately there for Active Force, he kind of pinched himself away to a point where he could not fight. It was like 1v2. Kubra with a bit of an over-aggressive teleport. And uh-oh, this is looking rather familiar. But Lassie, just with the sneaky little flash auto attack, going to at least make the trade here 1-for-1. So the dive did not go into their favor, but at least it wasn't completely all lost since Lassie picked up one. And I was saying before while we were waiting for the spectator delay how I was worried that like St. Clair would find themselves in a position similar to Monday, where they would get themselves a lead and then just start making really over-aggressive plays and throwing the lead away. That was almost one of them. It was extremely close, but at least it did end up going 1-for-1 in the end. But they got to be careful. I know they want to dive. I know they want to push their lead, but they have to be very careful with how they actually do that. Active Force with the drive-by. Kenny finds Xenoblade, going to get at least a piece out of them, but he's under tower. They don't want to take that fight. Wisely so, especially they did spot Dark X on a ward, so actually we might be in for a brawl in a brief moment here. Right now, Waterloo thinks they have the jump, but they don't realize that Frez's Kiana is right around the corner. Quatch Daddy is almost in ulting range as well. Could show up out of nowhere, and they're actually going to pop the Rift Herald. Shelly coming into play. That tower is not long for this world. There it goes. Get all of that extra gold in your pocket, and rather than take the fight, they are going to back off here. I like this play.
Looks like they made a few changes since the last one. Going about it a bit differently.
I'm extremely happy to see that to be the case. It's always so easy for a team to fall back into old habits and just push the go button and just keep attacking without thinking. But you can tell there's a bit more of a methodical play at hand here with this Saint squad compared to Monday, and how quickly they've been able to adjust. It's only been 2 days, yet it already seems like a different team right now.
I agree with you there, Dan, that it does seem to have a bit of a different feel already than what I was watching there on Monday. They seem to be communication and team play seems to be a little bit tighter today.
And all that adds up with is me having a little bit less of a heart attack as this game goes into the mid phase. As at this point, they'd be going back and forth, and I'd be obviously not on the camera, but I'd be just clutching my head like, no, why? Why is this happening? But not this time. So far, so good. Granted, this lead is only about 5,000. It's still definitely within reach here. Nidalee gets strong. Xenoblade guys, Aatrox, and basically the team on the side of University of Waterloo in general will continue to get like much stronger as this game goes on. But at least this team right here for St. Clair is not strictly an early game team compared to some of the ones we saw on Monday. Putting Lassie on the Jinx is basically like having a Vayne, I feel like. The later the game goes on, it's just going to be absolutely disgusting how much damage he's going to be able to put out. And having 3 kills already means that Lassie's already a threat going into these fights. YNS and Shinoa have to be careful. It looked like it was about to be party time in the bot lane, as all of the Saints were nice and close, as they're probably going to be thinking about the Dragon within the next minute or so. The Dragon will be up and for the taking. Saints already have the first one. Was a Wind Drake that they took a little bit earlier when Active Force was just able to sneak it essentially by himself. Good little combo there from Lassie, but you can see, even though got the combo off, still not a ton of damage onto Shinoa. Granted, Shinoa is a little bit tankier than some of the members on this side of University of Windsor, and Frez is actually getting feisty here onto Quatch. Can he find up a follow-up alongside Active Force? Absolute Zero, not going to quite get the kill, and they have to run. Xenoblade guy came down to assist his partner in the mid lane. Quatch is going to get out with his life unless Lassie wants to take the shot, which of course his ulti is just a free, like, a missile that goes across the entire map. Can find some snipes with it, but it's going to opt to hang on to it. No snipes, just take the Dragon. Dragon 2 going over to St. Clair. With that bot lane turret going down, this is going to make things really scary now for YNS and Shinoa to get any sort of farm in the slightest. They're already below the threshold that Lassie is setting in terms of creep score. It's 151 to 131, down 20, and then they have to worry that every time they come down to this bot lane that they're going to possibly get jumped on. YNS nearly going down. Shinoa was able to tank that Jinx ulti, that rocket, of course. Lassie, he has to be careful, but does have some backup if somebody decides to jump. They could actually find themselves in a position to take themselves another turret, and they're going to dang well make sure that they complete that. Nicely done. That entire bot lane now completely without turrets up until the inhibitor itself. And that's going to be scary for YNS. Might have to think about going to another lane or just having a support constantly ward their own jungle, otherwise could get jumped on. University of Waterloo at this point basically just on pause. They're a little bit behind, of course, looking like 6,000 or so gold now at this point. The lead for the Saints slowly but surely getting larger and larger. And now this is also difficult here for YNS. Has to deal with Frez. They does have some backup coming in. Dark X looking to possibly make the play, but Frez can do a good chunk of damage. Although that is a massive group of Waterloo players coming down to the bot lane to try and assist. So while they all move down bot, Lassie and Actiforce are here just absolutely shredding this turret down, getting themselves another one, some additional gold in the pocket for them. And this Jinx is just getting crazier and crazier. Actiforce's Nunu just getting tankier and tankier, just everything going into the favor of the Saints right here, right now. But I've seen them in this position before. Just about to hit that 20-minute mark, so the Rift Herald will be gone, and it's going to be Baron Nashor back into play. So, could be the next objective, considering how far the Saints are in this position. Xenoblade guy just forced to pop the ulti and flash away completely. Did not want anything to do with Cooper 3 in that spot. Man, I like the fact that right now this University of Waterloo squad, like they were taking it slow, but doing a good job of at least not overextending themselves, only really farming whenever it was actually like wise to do so. They knew they weren't going to get jumped on. Saints might be getting themselves a little bit over aggressive here. They did kind of put themselves in a position to get jumped on. Actiforce a little bit separated away from the team. And they do force Shelly to come play. So at some point here, the University of Waterloo must have picked up a Rift Herald that I did not quite notice. Saints are going to be able to shred that before the actual tower goes down, so that mid tower is still going to be safe for at least a little bit longer. Now, Dragon on the board here too. At this point, the University of Waterloo, they want to pick this one up if at all possible. They do not want the Saints to get number 3 to threaten Dragon number 4. But in return, the Saints just go towards the Baron instead. Get the big buff and then try and push forward down that mid lane. Right around the corner, about a quarter HP left. Is Waterloo going to get there on time? I don't think they're going to be able to. Going to be secured by Actiforce, and we're going to have ourselves a battle. Frez right in the middle of everything, keeping himself shielded and everything all good so far. Right now, Lassie in the background. Banso did end up going down, trying to save his AD carry, but that may be enough time for the strengths to pop off. Lassie, one more shot onto Shinoa would definitely take him down. Quatch Daddy getting extremely low as well. Cooper going to take care of Shinoa, and Dark X is the only one left on the side of the University of Waterloo, and everyone else has dropped. Saint's going to be able to do a ton of damage now.
Drills another turret. Thrusting forward.
They might be able to walk away with this inhibitor. No, they probably can't, actually. They're going to walk away with the inhibitor turrets. They're not going to quite take it, but still, good damage done. Do see a couple pings coming out on the minimap now on the side of the Saints. We're looking at either the bot lane or that that mid inhibitor, of course. With that being up and alive, they want to take that down, get some super minions in the mid lane, putting some extra added pressure onto that Nexus. This is going to be a tough one now here for the University of Waterloo. They feel like they're getting poked out. They have to deal with a baroned up St. Clair, and they do not want to take this fight. They're just going to let the inhibitor fall. So Saint's going to then be able to rotate probably on over to that top lane. It's the only other turret that's not in the base of the University of Waterloo. Take that down and then try to just keep on pushing forward while they have this buff. They're going to try and turn onto Kubra, however. Xenoblade guy going to get himself quite low. One more huge shot coming out here from Kubra, nearly taking him down. And he's actually able to really play around here with Dark X as well. There is a Quatch Daddy behind them who's going to possibly be able to finish this one off. But actually Kubra is slowly getting shields. Not going to happen. This time, Quatch Daddy is going to be able to find that shot down onto Kubra, giving him his first death of this game. Now it could be a rough battle if St. Clair kind of overextends. Actiforce getting smoked. Lassie in the background trying to find one. He does actually find the one onto Chinoa. Where's his damage going to go next? It's looking for Xenoblade guy. Not going to quite find the kill, however. Lassie nearly getting taunted. He is going to get taunted, actually. This could be trouble. Saints with a bit of a bad fight. And now, granted, there's still the inhibitor down in the middle. They got up to the inhibitor turret up in the top. But that was a lot of bounties going into the pockets of the University of Waterloo players. And it could be the start of something, but they need a lot more than just that in order to get back into this game. But I'm happy to see that the University of Waterloo is still fighting away, able to ace St. Clair in that fight. Objective on the board will be another dragon. Saints, of course, want to move this forward to get closer and closer to their dragon soul. And if they take this, of course, I'll be number 3 in the pocket. But this could also be a good opportune time for a fight if they can catch out Lassie. They do knock him up. However, Lassie gets himself to the same place. Actiforce going to find the dragon. Kubra going one-on-one with Dark X is going to lose that battle, actually. But then Ferez does find Y and S. It's a good pickup there from him. He's going to see Lassie find himself 1, find himself 2, find himself a 3rd. And he's going to keep on going here. Does Lassie have the rocket available from downtown? Headshot! Take him down. Quadra kill for Lassie. That should be the game. And sure enough, the screen freezes as per usual for this this patch for whatever reason as we throw it back to us. So that does mean that this match has completed. St. Clair going to take this one in a relatively convincing fashion as we throw it back to us here, of course. Now, it just felt so much better watching the Saints squad play, considering they got the lead and they actually hung on to it. What a combo. So they made it look good there. Now, Eileen, what did you think about that first match, though?
I thought it was great to see St. Clair keeping that pressure on, not giving. It was just really good to see. It was a different type of play that we had going on there from Waterloo. Continually trying to regroup and find a way to shut St. Clair down, and St. Clair just didn't seem to be giving them any chances at all. They kept it together and really pressed on well.
Other than that one awkward fight that kind of happened in the base near the end there, where they did kind of ace themselves, overextending for, I believe it was a kill around the inhibitor, and they all got wiped. They wiped the once, so sure, it wasn't a perfect game, but it was way less mistakes compared to what we've seen on Monday, and an improving Saints squad is what we like to see here. Now, of course, we're going to be throwing it to a very quick break unless you have any final thoughts on that matchup as we get ready to set up the lobby for Game 2.
No, we'll get ready for Game 2. I'm interested to see what's going to happen.
Sounds good. We'll be hopping into it within about 5 minutes or so. So don't go anywhere, and we'll get to see if Saints can take this one in a 2-0 fashion, make it a quick night for us, or if University of Waterloo will fight right back. Stay tuned to find out. Welcome back, Saints Nation, for game number 2 between the University of Waterloo versus St. Clair College. St. Clair took game number 1 in actually a surprisingly rather convincing fashion, but now with a little bit of a side switch, with University of Waterloo going to be taking the blue side instead of red. Let's see if Waterloo can pull something together and get themselves back into this game, try and force a game 3. looking at the bands to start things off. So the Olaf band going to be the same here, but we're going to see Galio actually taken away there. Quad Daddy played that last time, so interesting that they're just going to ban it away. Because I don't think Frez plays that champion. And the Anivia, okay, we know that Frez plays that champion. And then the bands on the Saint side of things are going to take away the Nidalee away from Dark X. That was one of the few highlights, I suppose, of the matchup there for the side of the University of Waterloo. Just constantly picking up the kills, or not picking up the kills, but at least trying to force a play whenever Saints tried to get a little bit over aggressive. The Nidalee was there, Dark X was there to shut that down. And Kaisa going to be picked up for first pick, and then we're going to if it doesn't, or if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Lazzy going to be picking up Jinx for the second game in a row. Active Force gets his new again for the jungle moving forward into this second game. However, Udyr was let through. Dark X going to pick that up instantly. Not going to let that go unnoticed. Of course, rather powerful champion right now in the current meta game. And Rel going to be picked up here for Shinoa. One more pick here for the side of St. Clair before we start banning once again. And they're going to pair up Lazzy's Jinx with Miensfo's Alistar. I mean, it isn't the Leona, but it can kind of fill a very similar role in terms of engaging, in terms of keeping Lazzy safe and peeling. It's a very fantastic champion to do so. So that with the bot lane secured on both ends, it's now up to dealing with the mid and top lanes for both sides. And they're going to start targeting that champion pool right away. Orianna getting taken away here from Quatch Daddy. And then they're actually going to ban the Kiana. So I know Frez is absolutely popping off for himself right now, knowing that his Kiana got banned. Still one more ban on each side. Probably still going to keep targeting that mid lane if I were to guess. See momentarily. And sure enough, yeah, get the Syndra off the board there for Quatch Daddy. So a big assassin-styled mage going to be taken off the board. And then one more ban on the side of the University of Waterloo. And they're going to target Kubra up in the top lane with Malphite. Granted, Malphite was never really his kind of champion anyway. So the ban, respectable. But for Kubra specifically, maybe not as effective. Especially since they left things like Renekton, they left the Gnar, and they left the Mordekaiser, which we do see hovered over here once again. Kubra, of course, was at 5 kills prior to the 10-minute mark in the last game. I'm actually extremely surprised that they let this slip. Never mind, we're getting gnarly. The Gnar is going to come out, get baited for just a moment. But Kubra, the chat's going to be happy with this one. The gnarly Gnar coming out to play. This would be a classic pick if I see it go through. I have not seen a Kennen get played in a good while here in any sort of competitive setting. Not that he's bad, but it's just not picked very often. And be still my heart, they switched it over to Gator. So at least it's a Gator. As a Gator fan, I am A-okay with this. But I would have liked to see a Kennen too. Why you do this? One more pick on this side of University of Waterloo now. I think they still need their mid laner. And then what's going to be rough here for Waterloo is then Frez gets to see which mid laner they pick and then try to counter it as best as possible. Pretty standard. Going to pick the Twisted Fate. However, if there's a matchup I know Frez knows, it's going up against the Twisted Fate. So what kind of character, what kind of champion does he want to pair up against the TF? Fish, fish, fish. We're going to see the Fizz come out to play. We like to see it. It's going to be the second time I think Frez has picked up the Fizz in this season. believe it was up against a Twisted Fate last time too. It's actually a really rough matchup, I do believe, here for Quatch Daddy on the Twisted Fate, because Fizz is able to dance around the gold card, dance around the stun, and then just start poking you to death with that trident. So we'll have to see how that one ends up turning over, if Frez can play that lane properly and just make Quatch Daddy's life an absolute living hell. But I mean, a pretty standard comp on the side of the University of Waterloo as well. Xenoblade guy going to be up on the Renekton this time by, try and be as beefy as possible. Udyr for Dark X. It's going to be a little bit different compared to the Nidalee we saw last time, but still a fantastic champion in its own right. And then Twisted Fate, if Quatch Daddy could hang on for just a little bit as we throw it back to us here for a second, if he could hang on for just a little bit, once he hits 6, of course, gets his ultimate Destiny, which will allow him to just absolutely teleport pretty well anywhere on the map and make himself available for teammates to help. But how much damage is he going to take prior to getting to level 6 is the question. Down in the bot lane, YNS going to be on the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa just a fantastic champion as of right now. Just so much damage, especially later the game goes on. And Rel, playmaker, tanky, very slow at times, but a solid engager, solid protector in her own right. But I'm definitely looking forward to this match. We have a couple moments here to just digest these champion pools, and right now, I can't believe that I would have put St. Clair as the underdogs and then watched game number 1 happen the way it did. You're talking to me about in the break about worried about putting your foot in your mouth. Well, it's A-okay. I do this constantly. Sometimes we make predictions and it's completely wrong, but I say time and time again on the stream here, hey, I am A-okay with being wrong. By all means, fire away. If you want to laugh at me in the chat after the fact, that's A-okay as well. By all means. At the end of the day, we're having fun here with the broadcasts and watching our teams play. They're playing competitive, but we're going to see what they can do, of course, and enjoy ourselves while we're at it.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Is there anything that you're looking forward to looking at these champion pools for this second matchup?
Well, I feel that maybe Waterloo is being very cautious after the way St. Clair handled the first match. I think that St. Clair might be maybe a little bit overconfident right now. But we'll have to wait and see, because I think that Waterloo, maybe was checking out and seeing what St. Clair was going to bring that first match so that they could make a good run for the second.
I definitely agree with what you were saying in regards to how they're playing like a bit cautious. This champion pool that I'm looking at right now on the side of University of Waterloo does seem like everybody just picked something safe that they were somewhat comfortable with that was somewhat meta. It may not be what their favorite champions are, but it's like, hey, we're supposed to win this, so let's pick champions that are supposed to win. Which, depending on comfort level, it could still be a little bit awkward down the road. Meanwhile, on the Saints side of things, it seems like everybody right now has a comfort champion that is also extremely strong. And yes, I like the Fizz. One, because of the TF matchup, it's probably a good matchup for the Fizz. But it is also, similar to what you said, this is a flex pick if I ever see it. Like, you want a style, you go Fizz. And we're going to see that here going into game number 2 momentarily. It's just going to be loading up in the background for just a couple moments here before we hop into the game. But it's looking like a fun one. Personally, I want to see the Warriors fight back here. Waterloo, we couldn't really see them even feel like get anything started in game 1. So hopefully, similar to what you said before, game 1 was the warm-up, and they can come back swinging here for game 2. But I'm very worried about that mid lane.
Yeah, that's true. Mid lane might be a bit of a problem. But the only way we're going to know that is they start. But yeah, I'm interested to see what Waterloo is going to do here. I'd like to see them get a bit more aggressive. Really give this a good game.
Aggressive, like possibly a level 1 invade. I feel like I can sense one coming here. Last time, I had asked you if you thought that there was one going to show up. and you're saying, well, it depends on what the Saints are going to do, then they're going to pick the same style. But we can see right here, they're just going completely into it. But right now, Kubra did spot it out, drops the ward. So Saints know that the University of Waterloo are in their jungle. The little boomerang there coming out from Kubra to just stop the backs. But everyone from the Saints are going to run away. The aggressive attempt here coming out from the University of Waterloo actually ends up getting absolutely nothing. But also, no harm was really done either. So, no harm, no foul. Both junglers are looking to start at their blue buff this time, so it's going to pull Lassie and Miansfo away from the bot lane for at least a moment. We did see during game number 1, YNS and Shinoa did hit level 2 first, which is of course basically the go button to go get aggressive onto your opponents while they're still level 1. But even though they hit 2, they weren't really able to really muster anything off of it. And pretty shortly after that, it got to the point where the Saints were just absolutely on top of them in that bot lane. And sure enough, you saw right there, Frez is able to just hop onto the Trident and just absolutely squash. Oh god, I better not say that too many times fast. But he's able to jump on him, do a bunch of damage, dodges everything thrown at him while he's in that position as well. So a little bit of acrobatics to dodge some abilities is absolutely clutch, especially with Twisted Fate's cards. Up in the top lane, I feel like Kubra might get beat up at least a little bit early, but we'll be able to fight back just fine with a couple additional levels, especially if you could stay even here with Xenoblade Guy on the Renekton. Just farm up from afar and then poke him down when you can. Meanwhile, down the bot lane, level 2 hits for both teams, but no aggression really going to be going down. Active Force has to be very careful. He goes actually into the jungle of the University of Waterloo and steals the buff, and he's going to be escorted away here by Lassie and Miansfo. So nicely done there from Active Force and nicely done there from the bot lane of St. Clair to give him that extra backup. Frez is taking a little bit of additional damage here. All these minions just pounding away on him at the same time, forced to pop the potion and get back to the mid lane under his turret. Oh, Dark X wanted to steal a buff back, but he walks right into Active Force. Active Force doesn't have that much damage, however. We do see Dark X on the Udyr. He's going to be able to get first blood after Active Force gets a little bit overconfident with his early game brawling, which Nunu is not known for at all. Lassie getting jumped on, has no mana either, but not going to be forced to blow the flash, nearly getting Shinoa actually after Shinoa went too close to the turret and shot him and took a big chunk of damage, as of course he was only level 3 at the time. You cannot tank a turret very well at that level. And with Miansfo returned, could possibly maybe get a jump. And Dark X just being an absolute nuisance here to Active Force actually, now adds his red buff. And it's going to be a Xenoblade Guy coming in, flash stun. A little bit of a back and forth. Quatch Daddy is here ready with the gold card as well. Active Force going to go down for the second time. Stun coming out onto Kubra. Going to hang on. Not quite. Oh dear. The Udyr coming out here from Dark X is already loaded up with 3 kills. If the Saints aren't careful, that could snowball out of control.
Yeah, this is what I was a bit afraid of this time, Dan.
Definitely makes sense. I mean, the Udyr got let through, and Dark X just knows that's a good champion nowadays. I can pilot this to a decent level, and then just everything has been going in his favor right now. Found Active Force earlier. Active Force was ready to fight, and he probably shouldn't have. However, this is the kind of fight that Active Force wants to see. Down here with the bot lane here with YNS, but Shinoa is going to blow up Lassie before Lassie can get the finishing blow onto YNS, so not going to be credited for the kill. Active Force is going to at least get himself back onto the board. But only one of those assists are going to go over to Lassie, as he did not get any damage onto the rail, onto Shinoa. So by trying to feed that kill over to Lassie, he ends up going down once again. And just getting the 1 assist compared to maybe getting himself a second if he just did 1 hit and kind of ran for the hills. This top lane actually looking really rough now here for Kubra. Was trying his best to farm from afar, but we can see down at the bottom in terms of minion kills, Xenoblade guy is about to hit 40 of them. Meanwhile, Kubra is just about to hit 20, so he's getting next to no gold sitting up there in the top lane. Xenoblade guy, of course, basically having double. And that is going to translate well when it comes to additional fights later down the road. At least right now for St. Clair, the one lane that is basically unaffected negatively in any way has been that mid lane. It has been Frez up against that Twisted Fate. Of course, Fizz, before he gets a couple levels into his abilities, will be a little bit weak. But now that he's hitting that level 6 mark, has the ultimate available, if Quatch is not careful, he could probably get absolutely deleted by Frez if he gets caught in the wrong spot. I'll be looking to see him make a play there sometime soon. This is what I'm talking about. Here comes the bunny. Takes care of Quatch down the half HP. Frez has the burning on him from that W. Oh, he flashed into the gold card. Flash gets wasted away. Unfortunately there for Frez, not going to be able to get the finishing blow. Basically using all of his resources to get that, but at least he gets out of dodge prior to Dark X and Shinoa finding their way towards the mid lane. But now Dragon is on the menu. Frez doesn't have his ultimate for a good while here. Does Saints want to even try to contest this? I don't think they do. They're going to probably just hand this over to Dark X. Let the University of Waterloo take that first dragon and look to maybe catch up a little bit later. Wisely when they know they have the advantage. Otherwise, it's a slightly uneven battle of sorts. It's like a 55-45 if they end up going head-to-head here with Dark X, as we do see him making the way down bot lane, and it's going to be the Destiny coming out here from Quash, try and stun up Lassie. He's going to go down for free, and that goes over to YNS. Are they going to be able to secure the kill onto Manspo as well? Not this case. The Shark, or the Bunny in this case, going wide from Frez, and he wants blood. He's diving right into 2 stuns. That's not going to end up very well. Unfortunately, the overzealous nature of Frez, he wants to get aggressive, and he ends up paying for it. Actifor is going to try an absolute 0, and he's going to get the shutdown gold, actually. They could turn this if they are very careful. The Meganar comes out just in time. Kubra going to find himself another. We have ourselves a 3 for 3 now. Unfortunately there for Kubra, rather, not going to be able to get the hit he needs onto YNS. It's okay, considering how messy that was down bot. They went even, which, I guess, best case scenario, but still, he also left Xenoblade guy all the way up in this top lane all by himself for a long time, doing a bunch of damage to that top turret, and little things like that are why we see this 3,000 gold lead right now here for the side of the University of Waterloo, taking their first lead in the series and looking to keep on extending it. Xenoblade guy going to find Actiforce right away, and Dark X is right here as a teleport as well. Actiforce has to get out of dodge, but the stun coming out here from Dark X is going to slow down Actiforce at least a second, but then with the help of Kubra, going to be able to get out of dodge. Actiforce going to hang on. No flash now, but still hangs on to his life. And now they're going to look to try and turn this here. Dark X trying to get out if he can, but there's still a decent amount of damage coming out here from the Gnar of Kubra. Going to get stunned up, however. Xenoblade guy no longer has his ultimate, but still going to try and pressure them away for at least a moment. Now Frez looking to headhunt. He might be able to get it done. One more shot. He is going to get the kill on Dark X, so it's a good start. A huge bunny attack here coming out here from Frez as well. Get that one over to him. Double kill to Frez. Get the fish fed. That skin keeps baiting me, because normally you throw that out, that's a shark that pops out. But for this skin specifically, it's a little Easter Bunny. The fiercest Easter Bunny that you will probably ever see. Yeah, this bot lane for...
gonna move first here? No, I just said I was waiting to see who's gonna move first here. Looks like maybe Waterloo was gonna go for it, but now they're both back again.
Yeah, like right now, University of Waterloo, they don't even necessarily have to move here. We keep seeing over on Lassie, over on the Jinx, anytime he gets close, YNS will jump on him, Shinoa will jump on him, and it's extremely rough. So by staying this far away, sure, he's not getting jumped on, he's getting experience, but he's barely ever finding himself in a position to actually get the last hit onto a minion. And that is costing him so much gold. We actually seen Shinoa blocking the cannon minion to actually cut off Lassie even further. But we now do have ourselves a party down here in the bot lane. Could possibly be neutralized by the Absolute Zero. Gonna force the teleport out of Xenoblade guy. And they might be able to still make this work as they transition over to Dragon number 2. Never mind, they're just going to go for it. Mansfo's a second too late. It is going to give the kill over to YNS, but Active Force is at least going to trade one. Where in the world did Shelly come from? Playing and just absolutely destroying the bot lane turret from St. Clair as well. And this composition coming out here from side of University of Waterloo are actually coming into perfection. Frez is going to be a little bit late to the party. Stopwatch, or no, it's Azania's, I think, trying to keep himself alive. Not going to be the case. Now, YNS, 6 kills in 13 minutes. Yikes. University of Waterloo completely flipping this game on its head compared to game number 1. Eileen, you might have been onto something when you're saying game 1 was just the warm-up, because it's really starting to seem that way right now with the way this Waterloo team is playing.
It does seem that way, and they are a bit more aggressive this time. And I'm kind of glad to see that, because it gives us a chance to see what they might be capable of when they're communicating well.
Absolutely. From the other esports titles and everything too, it's like I knew this Waterloo's team is actually solid. I know it's a good group, so that first game did seem kind of odd to see them go down as much as possible. We didn't get to see them to their full potential, like you were saying. This one is looking at least a little bit closer, and I feel like there's still a little bit of additional room for plays to be made, as we do see the... Oh, they were thinking about maybe chasing Lassie down, but Mansfo's presence is going to deter that for at least a moment. Yeah, that tower is basically one hit. It was really weird to see the Rift Herald. Must have got picked up by Dark X at some point. But yeah, picked that up. As they were diving the turret, they just dropped Shelly, dropped the Herald, and they got so much damage done to that turret to the point where it's probably gone. Sure enough, yep, there it goes. And now, another thing too that we didn't mention earlier, but that second dragon did go down into the favor of University of Waterloo as well. So fantastic start objectively. In terms of strategy and eliminations as well. Granted, there's a couple kills on the side of St. Clair, but if I take a look at it, make sure you got the 2 kills on the Frez, so that's fantastic. But compared to game number 1, Lassie is definitely going to be behind. 0 kills, 2 assists, compared to 6 kills and 3 assists on the side of Waterloo. And then the other kills that have happened so far for the Saints, it's been on their support and their jungler, the ones who are supposed to be the playmakers, but maybe not so much the damage dealers. So the gold is a little bit lopsided in regards to where they want that gold to be. And look at Waterloo. They're just completely comfortable invading the jungle like it's nobody's business, chasing Active Force right out of it, forcing him to not get any more gold. We're going to see Xenoblade guy dive on in. But we're going to see a possible fight back here from Kubra. He's going to go down before he even has the opportunity to hop into Mega Gnar form. So it's going to be quite unoptimal for him there. Lassie with the rockets are able to do a decent amount of AoE damage, but he's so weak that he's not going to be able to do really anything. Saints absolutely melt. Frez is the only one left alive, was not able to get to that top fight. anywhere near in time, considering how fast the Saints just popped. Frez is going to fire at the bunny, but it goes right onto the tank, so it's not going to really do anything. Looking to jump on in. Active Force is here. Going to wait after nearly getting taken down. Shinoa hanging on by a thread. Going to survive. Active Force going to toss another one over to YNS. Why don't you gift wrap that one? Another kill. 9 kills over to YNS. And he is going to be an absolute terror this game. Saying during the champ select, Eileen, that you're worried about overconfidence coming out here for the St. Clair squad. It looks like they picked a bunch of fan favorites, but at least strategically it is not where it needs to be right now for the way this game is happening. They're nearly 8,000 gold down. And we know they want to make the plays, but they just don't have the damage to do it, and it's really putting them behind. I'm not sure how they can get back into this game.
Yeah, I think that Waterloo was able to successfully lull the Saints into a sense of confidence that maybe just, they should have been a bit more cautious, like Waterloo was on the second one. But I don't know, it's good to see Waterloo come this way, but it's really worrying for me about the Saints because I just expected them to bounce back a little bit more after the first hit, and they just seem to have been spiraling and continuing to not flip back. Maybe they'll pull it up again.
Absolutely. In theory, there's still some time for something to happen, but they are going to have to really draw this one out, because I feel like they have to get Frez fed, they have to get Lazi fed, they have to at least get to a point where Mensfo, Kubra, and Active Force just don't pop on the sight of YNS's appearance. And we're going to see another tower go down. Hello, Shelly. Headbutt takes care of that turret like it's nobody's business. Can he find another one, or can Saints burst it down in time? Not going to be the case, so big damage going on to that second turret as well. Just about half the health on that turret gone, just from the headbutt alone. So big damage coming out here for the University of Waterloo. And then I'll give Waterloo credit as they go for this third dragon here, which is probably going to go uncontested. But like Saints picked their fan favorites, which are definitely stylish champions. Meanwhile, side of the University of Waterloo, like I was saying before, whether they like the champion or not, they just picked solid champions and they know how to work them. And because it's not flashy plays that they're doing here. It's not like super sick stuff that's going to get you on Reddit or anything like that. It's just standard League of Legends play, and are doing it to a T. With that
And sometimes that's what you need. You need that standard play to just, get rid of, get you where you want to be for the next match.
Absolutely. There's a reason why we call certain champions like meta champions, because they're deemed to be the best in slot for their role, or one of the best characters that you can pick for your certain roles. And University of Waterloo loading themselves up on those exact champions and doing exactly what they need to do with it, whether they like it or not. So with over or almost a 10k gold lead, they do also have that third dragon now in their pocket. So the Mountain Soul, I do believe, is right around the corner if they can manage to get one more dragon. So definitely brutal to deal with. And that 20-minute mark is right around the corner as well. Baron Nashor will be available for the taking. It's a one bad fight for St. Clair. Give up Baron, and it could possibly give up the game, if not the game, a ton of their base. Have to be very careful moving forward here. I do like the fact that the University of Waterloo cleared out the Baron pit, so there's no vision on it. So even if like Saints are kind of back farming, in theory, if they all disappear off the map and They can look towards that Baron pit, whether they want to try and burst it down, or even just bait the fact like, oh yeah, we're definitely doing Baron. You want to come stop us, right? And then force them into a 5v5, which might actually be exactly what's going to go on here. They are going to turn their focus towards the Baron. Already down to half health. YNS is going to be able to do a ton of damage to this, as well as the Udyr. And we're going to have ourselves a Fakie and turn into an engage as Shnoa starts off with a solid engage, and the first casualty is Lazi, which is absolutely brutal here for St. Clair. Frez is dancing and diving away, going to hang on for a second, but guess what? The fish gets eaten by the gator, and it's going to be Baron Nashor going over to the University of Waterloo as well. Just every single fight just has me questioning right now here for St. Clair. How do they get back into this? And I don't know how they do it. This is definitely way different compared to the game we saw before. After looking at how Game 1 went, I was expecting this to be a nice, quick 2-0, but with the pace that the University of Waterloo is setting, we very well might be going all the way to Game 3. And it is quite the lead right now, looking like 12,000 right now in the favor. Don't quick math me, I suffer. But solid job so far here for the University of Waterloo. They got themselves their lead, and not only have they kept it, but they've just kept on extending this over and over again. After Lazi had such a solid performance on the Jinx, he is absolutely getting rocked this game here. No kills, 5 deaths, 2 assists, down on CS. He's just not able to get any gold to his pocket. Miensfo, you're supposed to be the tank, but yet you still pop like it's nobody's business. And Darkax doing exactly what he needs to do, just instantly dive onto Lazi. Frez goes down, nice and quick. The bomb or missile comes through, no dice there for the side of the Saints. Triple kill going over to YNS, make that the Quadra. Almost got the Penta, but Quatch Daddy going to steal that one away. And I honestly think that this is probably going to be the game. Right now, University of Waterloo are so far ahead, I feel like they can actually push this if they want to. And it looks like that is exactly what they are going to do. One turret going down. Miensfo is the only one alive, and it's going to be a Xenoblade guy diving in to stun Miensfo. So there you go. Welcome. Oh, you just respawned. Doesn't matter. You're dead again. And while you're at it, we'll take your Nexus, which is going to bring us to game number 3. An extremely convincing fashion win here for the side of the University of Waterloo. Holy smokes.
A completely different match.
Absolutely brutal stuff coming out of here from Waterloo. And honestly, from the competitive side of things, I love to see it, because now we're going to force where Game 1, Saints were dominant. Game 2, Waterloo was dominant. What are we going to get for Game 3? Are we going to get one of those crazy back and forths? We are kind of lining ourselves up for it, but we'll have to see if the Saints can recover, because in terms of who was more dominant, I feel like that second game from Waterloo hurt the Saints way more than Game 1 hurt the Warriors. So we'll have to see to move forward into Game 3 in a brief moment. Going to be throwing it to a break very soon. But of course, before we do so, I do want to thank the sponsors once again that do make these St. Clair Saints varsity esports team possible and these broadcasts. So a big thank you to St. Clair College, Tim Hortons, the St. Clair SRC and St. Clair College Alumni Association, Zuckelman School of Business and Information Technology, and PC Outlet. Thank you for your support, and big thank you to the support of everybody tuning in to the broadcast right here, right now. Whether you're here for your family member, your friends, classmates, or just supporting your teams, whether you're here for the Waterloo side or for the Saints side, it's always a pleasure having you in the stream and tuning in as we're about to get ready for game number 3. I know, personally, I'm almost out of breath here of this game already, and if we're only just beginning, game 3 going to be underway. I'm going to quickly take a quick, yes. We're going to very quickly take a break here, less than 5, and we'll be into picking bands for game number 3.
Their fear is wise. Come on, I won't hurt you. I promise.
Oh, the perks of broadcasting at home. I've got a extra little co-commentator here for the briefest of moments, of course. Say hello, Jace. As we're about to hop into game number 3, the Saints are looking to definitely rebound after what was a very, very brutal battle for that second game. Waterloo just absolutely crushed it. Now, we're going to bring out the draft in just a second here. Got to see what changes in regards to pick and bans. All right, so let's see. Starting things off here. I've never been photobombed by my son before, so that's a new one. But anyway, the one thing that's going to stay the same here, Actifor is going to pick up the Nunu again for this round. And honestly, for the side of the University of Waterloo, I wouldn't change a dang thing with their champ select. And it looks like they're going right down the same path. Rel's going to be picked up. Renekton's going to be picked up. Kaisa might be off the board, so they might have to pick a different AD carry, but we'll have to see if the rest of the team follows up. Okay, they actually Saints did actually ban off the Udyr as well, so at least that's off the board.
I'm interested to see if I think Clair is going to go less flashy this time. Try and stay a bit more, solid and know what they're doing. Because you say Waterloo had a really good thing going on the last match, so they decide to stay with that same mix. It would be a good one.
Definitely makes sense. And to be honest, as of right now, what I see here from Saints is a little bit more safer compared to the last time. Of course, we still have the Gnar, we still have the Nunu, but those are just solid picks for Actiforce and Cooper, respectively. The Senna is going to be the first one I've seen Lassie play in a while, but it is a bit of a safer AD carry that has the ability to heal herself and others, long range damage as well, and just not as vulnerable as the Jinx was. So probably a solid pick there on the side of the Saints. However, Dark X, you ban the Udyr, that's okay. I'm going back to Nidalee. which granted during Game 1 found some but limited success. We'll have to see if it's just as successful in game number 3 as the Udyr was, because that Udyr was absolutely crushing the Saints in regards to how he was just all over the place, was constantly ganking everybody, putting his lanes ahead to the point where team fights were basically impossible. Kiana's still going to be banned. Tom Kench actually getting banned. That's a random one coming out of left field for University of Waterloo. And then I do like the Twisted Fate ban. This is going to force Quatch Daddy to pick up something that he hasn't already played here in this game, as the Galio and TF are both banned. Gonna have to try something different, dig a little bit deeper into his champion pool for this next one, but he could very well save it for the last pick, and it's going to be the 80 carry getting picked up here this time for YNS. Of course, the Kaisa was picked up, so going to pick the Zaya instead. Strong, relatively mobile, and has a couple of, or has an escape option even built into the ultimate, so can dodge some critical maneuvers, whether it be some roots coming out of Lazi's Senna, or getting jumped on by possibly Nunu or Dinar. And it is going to be best bodyguard NA, so it is going to be Braum coming out to play here for Miensfo. And it's Saints' turn, it looks like, to play very safe, unless they just completely whip it out the window with this pick here. This would be a very strange blind pick, because normally you would pick a Veigar in regards to a counter pick, and this is much more sense. This makes a lot more sense, actually. Picking up the Orianna here for Frez. So there are plenty of targets on the side of St. Clair that you can throw the Orianna ball onto to fire off give the shield, the speed boost with the damage, or the shockwave, which of course the big ultimate maneuver there for Orianna, and it's going to be the Victor to counterpick Frez. Now granted, Frez does play a lot of Victor himself as well, so this is at least a champion that he knows pretty well. This is probably a matchup that he actually knows pretty well. So he should be able to hold his own without having to completely send it in the mid lane to make something happen. He can stay back, wait for teammates to make plays, and this is just such a safe composition from St. Clair. This will be a much different playstyle compared to last time. Meanwhile, I like the mix here for University of Waterloo. They have some aggression in regards to the Renekton in Italy and Rel, but they've played these before. They're comfortable champions for them, and they fit well. They're safe, but you can still be aggressive with them if it lines up correctly. The Victor is an interesting middle ground, to say the least. Can definitely get aggressive if he wants to, if the opportunity is right, as we throw it to us real quick. And then the Zaya Rel, this is going to be a different bot lane for myself anyway. Don't see a lot of it. Zaya just solid all around. Rel, I mean, we saw it happen a lot during the game number 2, where there was just constant pressure of diving onto Lazi, on the Jinx, to the point where Lazi just couldn't farm at all. Was constantly shooting away, was constantly trying to use abilities to get last hits on minions, and was still so far behind that, even though there was a few opportunities where he was able to find some huge rockets in fights, but it was still just doing no damage. So, looking forward to seeing how this final game here will end up happening.
I'm looking forward to it too, Dan. I'm thinking that we might see a good mix of both matches coming to play here. I think we'll see a few really scrappy brawls happening, but at the same time, quite a bit of that standoff, and let me gauge where you're coming from.
I feel like something is going to have to be set up properly in order for an actual fight to occur, because if either team doesn't find the setup they're looking for, I feel like they're just going to back straight off. Like, you're going to want to set up some sort of tank alongside the Orianna for the shockwave setup, but if you don't get that start, I feel like you just probably throw the ball on, give him a speed boost, and make him run away. Meanwhile, on the side of Waterloo, I feel like it's a bit more pick style, where you're not necessarily trying to find that 5v5, but you might be looking to try and find somebody, a straggler or two in the jungler, pick them off, then kick them while they're down, so to speak. I feel like their composition kind of leans toward that a little bit more, but we'll have to see. As always, I'm trying my best to analyze this match as best as possible, but of course, one of the most exciting things about League is that it can be definitely unpredictable, and I absolutely love to be wrong. So we'll have to see. I want to see if the players can prove me wrong in this situation. Maybe St. Clair just sends it. I don't know. Maybe they just whip it down and see what happens, but I have asked in the first game, we kind of got spoiled for the second game in regards to this question, but what do you think is going to happen level 1? Are we fighting, or are we just staying safe?
You know, it's gonna be a hard one for me to say this time. I want to say that they're gonna come back fighting, but I feel that they might be a little bit hesitant on that just after such a big loss on the last round. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think we'll be able to tell fairly early on how they're going to do that, how they're going to play their round this time.
Definitely makes sense. If there is going to be an invade, I feel like it might come from the Saint side, because you can line up Brahm's Snowball to actually stun somebody, but other than that, it'll be a little bit difficult. There's not necessarily somebody who has really any other hard CC other than Senna if she wants to take her route for level 1, which oftentimes I don't think they want to. So it very well might be a cautious one, but we'll have to see as we move forward. Now, your first time casting, you have yourself a Game 3 match. You excited for it?
I am. This is it's a little bit easier as each match goes along for me to feel a bit more comfortable. Hopefully I'll find my way in this match to see some good things happen.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you're here, of course. At the end of the day, these broadcasts are meant for student opportunities. Get everybody out there, whether you're part of the esports club or either esports club, the esports program. If you're just interested and you're at St. Clair, by all means, I'm happy to see people coming out here and giving this a shot. Aline, so far, so good, and keep on trucking on as we're about to hop into game number 3. And we have ourselves just a standoff. Nothing too crazy. 2 lines of scrimmage, everybody staying nice and calm. They might have been on something when you were calling out the hesitation in the Saints moving forward here. It definitely makes sense, and they're not going to pull the trigger on anything too aggressive.
Being a sentinel? Second rule of being a sentinel.
Like everybody's just trying to find where they start their plays off. Where do they want to make that first?
They were thinking about it there for a second, but then opted against it. Just going to go down to the bot lane. They're actually not even going to help their jungler. Dark X is just going to fend for himself in the jungle. Meanwhile, Saint's bot lane going to help Active Force burst down that red buff as quick as possible. And then try to move on from there. I think they do both get to the lane pretty much at the same time, though. Don't have to worry too much about level 2s as of this moment. Active Force with a very quick gank actually here on the Quatch Daddy. Going to force a flash. Can they get a kill this quickly? They are. It is going to go over to Frez. Active Force going to hang on by a thread. A very unusual early gank coming out here from Active Force, and it pays dividends. And when I was asking about early action, here I am thinking about like level 1 invades, but maybe I should have been thinking about level 2 jungler ganks as Active Force manages to clutch that one out with Frez. And the fact that Frez has that kill as well, just going to be so much more confident as soon as he does end up getting his first back, able to get a bunch of items, which he did just do right now. So he's going to be able to keep stacking the tier, of course, and working on the rest of his items as well. Up ahead compared to where he would be, being able to get that first blood gold.
I think on the mental side of the game, for St. Clair, it seems that if they can get that you seem to do a little bit better once you get that first one. So I hope that that continues for them, but we'll see, because Waterloo is definitely they're very cautious, and they might be able to just hold St. Clair off with that ability to wait the right moment.
Yeah, very well might happen. We do see in the jungle, actually, Dark X might have found himself one of those moments. Xenoblade guy nice and close as well. Active Force extremely low. Flash and gonna take care of him. He's going to get the revenge kill onto Active Force. You take my mid laner, now I take you. Takes care of it, and now it's just going to allow Xenoblade guy to pressure Cooper all he wants. Knows that the jungler's not going to show up for at least a little bit. And the fact that Nidalee gets a kill is always fantastic as well. And down in the bot lane here, you can tell that Lassie and Mensfo feel so much more comfortable in this match, at least as of right now, compared to the other one. They're basically battling it out back and forth. YNS takes a ton of heat, and then these kind of long, drawn-out engagements, Lassie and Mensfo might be for the better. However, they caught themselves in a bit of a pickle. Can they wait long enough for Active Force to arrive? Not in the slightest. Active Force is in trouble. Frez is going to have to try and flash out the Dragon Pit because Quatch Daddy chased them down and we basically just gift wrapped that one. Give the double kill over to Dark X, and once again, for the second game in a row, Dark X is going to find himself 3 kills before the 10-minute mark and is going to be an absolute threat moving into this early game, as there's so much gold in the pocket. And I mean, Nidalee does a ton of damage to begin with, let alone Nidalee that actually has items. Yeah, if I'm Frez, I run a couple seconds ago. Like, this is actually kind of brutal unless Dark X kind of throws it a little bit, going into the turret one more time. Active Force on hot pursuit, but he has to watch out for the Gator. Xenoblade guy trying to escort Dark X out of there, but he's got to watch out for Kubra. He's come on down, tries to get him, but it's actually going to be Active Force who's going to fall first. Kubra really wants this kill on the Nidalee, is going to find it. Just barely, but this fight might be getting a little bit hectic here for the Saints. They're going to blast their way out of here. So they're at least going to go 1 for 1. They got the shutdown, and it went on to Kubra. Going to try and boost start the Gnar as well. And considering before, when left alone in this lane up against Xenoblade guy's Renekton, he had himself a really, really hard time. Getting that kill to go even with him at least is at least going to make things a little bit more of a relief for him compared to a Fed Gator. Top laner is not quite level 6 just yet, so they'll be able to dive in onto each other, but probably not take each other out, at least as of yet. And now that Kubra's hit 6, Xenoblade guy will probably be right around the corner. You'll probably expect an engagement up top very shortly, as we do see the bot lane here for St. Clair. They're in trouble, as we do see Dark X make a return down to this bot lane. Mietsvo is not going to be long for this world. Is going to probably go down. Dark X so close to going down, but huge cover coming out here from Y and Ness and getting double kill. This is kind of scary. 2 heavy-hitting champions have 3 kills under their belt, and they're going to be able to just extend that lead with the next time they back. Going to hit even harder. And Lassie must be must be shaking his head right here right now. Active Force going to make a trip down to the bot lane, and is he going to just hand this one over, or is there a plan in place? Looks like it's just going to hand this one over. Active Force going to go down for absolutely free. Oh, Miensfo, you just came back to lane. Well, go back home. Back to the fountain with you. Same to you, Lassie. That was absolutely free. The nice little return gank there from Dark X. You thought he left, but not going to be the case at all. Rough times for the bot lane. Never mind the game state itself. Mentally, that is an absolute tilter, to say the least.
I have to agree with you there, and it definitely is. And this is when I think that the Saints really had a hard time last game because they, they just didn't seem to be able to pull it back and just take a run at it again. And I think that this is really, it's hit them hard. Um, we were hoping for a better
First rule of
start,
being a
but
sentinel.
maybe they'll
Second
come up.
rule of being a sentinel.
I don't know. They might have done it
Questions?
before, but we'll wait and see. Did so well that first round. That was really nice to see, but they seem to just have gotten into a bit of a
First
know,
rule of being a
a
sentinel.
hard place for them to get out of,
Second rule of being
the mental aspect of the game.
Any questions?
Yeah, unfortunately, from what I've seen so far today, it's like when it's good, it's great, but when it rains, it pours. And it really seems to be the case down, especially for the bot lane here, where they love to have high momentum, especially when they're playing the Jinx. Jinx is extremely, like, momentum-based. And now switching over to the Senna to try and switch things up, still not necessarily doing the trick for him. And Lazzy, it's a very uncharacteristic to see him and Miensfo both with no kills and 3 deaths under 10 minutes. The return ganks from Dark X and just the way this bot lane is playing here for the University of Waterloo has just been absolutely fantastic here so far. And any time that St. Clair has to rely on somebody other than Lazzy and Miensfo to, or rather than Lazzy to do damage, it usually gets a little bit rough here. And we're going to see the Saints try to make the play. Activeforce was coming in with the snowball, but YNS just does not care. Blows them up before they can even make anything happen. We have Dark X on the Italy. Nice, quick little assassination. The classic flash into absolutely nothing coming out here from Activeforce. And YNS, nice dodge, and he turned that onto Activeforce. Absolute clinic coming out here from the University of Waterloo. And it's, for the hometown crowd, this is definitely painful, but still have to absolutely admire the play coming out here from the University of Waterloo. They won the fight in the top lane. They won the fight in the bot lane. Lazzy and Frez are going to try and make something happen, and never mind, we do seem to have a disconnect. So we're going to quickly throw it on over to us as it looks like... oh, never mind. Hang on a second. Quatch Daddy had the PC maybe mess up ever so slightly, but with him back in the game, we'll be getting right back into it in a second. The Saints should definitely take advantage of this moment and essentially call themselves an unofficial timeout, because they need to regroup and think something up real quick, because the bot lane, their morale must be absolutely shattered. Their gold pockets are definitely shattered. Not going to be able to make much out of it. They're scrapping for whatever items they can right now. And the fact that they're going to have to rely on Frez for safety and for damage, it's going to be hard for Frez to do both. He nearly got YNS in that engagement, but a nice use of the ult for YNS to dodge any additional damage and then turn it onto Activeforce was absolutely crazy. Just a lot of clutch mastery coming out here from the side of the University of Waterloo. CS-wise, they're absolutely killing it as well. Farming so much better, getting so much more gold. They have a dragon, and their AD carry is 6-0. Okay, 6-1, never mind. Kubra comes down from the top lane to at least get the kill onto that. Activeforce is going to try and defend this, but he is going to likely go down here because this Yeti is extremely squishy. Dark X looking for one more. There we go. Line him up for number 6 in regards to deaths here for Activeforce. Kubra, can he find one more shot? If he does get that third proc, that would have been brutal, but not going to find it. One looks for some additional ones. That's going to be ults coming out here from Lazzy, and sure enough, Quatch Daddy is going to go down. Small victories here as the Gnarly Gnar coming out here from Kubra is going to find his 3rd kill of the game. The beacon of hope here for St. Clair onto the top lane rookie, but he can't even go back to the top lane right now. His turrets just got smashed. Dragon number 2 right around the corner here for St. Clair if they want to try and make something happen, but it's going to probably be unlikely considering Frez is getting jumped on, forced to use the shockwave. Dark X, can he get the pounce he's looking for? The shield is going to get the shutdown. That's what they needed. Frez is going to find himself some big money after that takedown on to Dark X. Got a little bit too overzealous, and that extra little shield that Oriana gets when the ball is on her was absolutely clutch to keep that one up. Frez currently deathless right now in this game. Doing a solid job in his own right, but everywhere else seems to be falling apart for him. Actiforce tries to get the jump onto Quatch, but if anything, it's going to be Quatch now getting the jump onto Actiforce. Going to force our dear Yeti to run away. And Dragon number 2 now on the board. YNS is already working on it alongside Shinoa, and I believe it's Quatch there as well. They're going to take this down basically uncontested. Saints don't even know that it's going on, or if they do, they just don't want to deal with it. Going to let them get the second Dragon. While Cooper is content just pounding away on that top turret at least until Xenoblade guy gets there. Okay, Miensfo getting extremely aggressive with the ulti, considering Lazi is in trouble. Going to try and use his invisibility to get out of dodge. Miensfo is going to go down, unfortunately. Was trying to save his AD carry, but as the AD carry runs the other way, they just turn onto him. Going to be his 6th death of the game as well. And Lazi going to try and maybe get the death via the turret so nobody gets the gold for it. And oh, nice little touch there for Shinoa to make sure that he gets credited for the kill. 2 kills for Shinoa. 10 assists. Solid job from the support line of the University of Waterloo. And okay, we have the Gator jumping on in. Xenoblade guy, how fast can a Gator eat a Yeti? We will have to find out. Thankfully, it looks like it's going to be a little bit longer than expected. Some decent AoE damage coming out here from St. Clair. Frez has been able to find this shots exactly where he needs to. Cooper 3 fighting from the side, not quite ready for Mega Gnar form, but he may be able to get the secure on to Xenoblade guy, and is in fact going to be able to do so, handing Xenoblade guy his first death of this game. But even still in this 4v5 scenario, I still don't necessarily trust Saints' ability to take a fight right now, considering how far behind they are in regards to gold and in regards to items this early into the game.
Yeah, I think the Saints need to regroup and figure out what they need to do to pull this off and get the win. Because I really don't see that they'll be able to do that. But it's been such a solid game for Waterloo to just keep that pressure on the Saints and the game going. So it really is showing, that even though that first game was a great one for St. Clair Saints, that it was a let's see what you're made of kind of match.
Absolutely. The last thing that the University of Waterloo should do right now is just completely let off or not keep themselves on the gas pedal, so to speak. They're in the lead. They're in the lead by a lot. This is when you punish hard and just keep on pushing, making it extremely unbearable to even play this game. This is one of those games that if they're doing it right, it does not feel fun for anybody. And one person this game does not really feel fun for would be Actiforce if he goes down once again, but he is able to at least kind of trade a little bit here with Dark X. But Dark X is going to be able to heal himself over time. And now is Baron on the table? Or not Baron, but it's still the Rift Herald. Still a possibility here. Shockwave available for Frez if he does find himself the opportunity to go in. Cooper 3 charging on through. It does have, of course, the Mega Form. Could possibly find the Wombo combo. This is what we know him for. Looks for one more shot. He's not going to find it. Never mind, he throws the house at him and is going to be successful in taking him down in the end. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel in the form of Kubra. but he's not meant to be a damage dealer. He could take the combo to Quatch Daddy because Victor is rather squishy. But you try to do that to a Rel, you try to do that to a Renekton. Even the Nidalee, that's not going to be the case. You pull that combo off, you might maybe get half health at best. It's going to be reliant on the rest of your team to follow up with that. And Kubra might be able to take a bunch of hits. I think he is still prioritizing a little bit of... oh no, he's not actually prioritizing tanking as much. He is a rather damage-focused Gnar in this situation, so he's going to jump in, and if Saints aren't with him, he's just going to pop. So the amount of precise execution that the Saints are going to have to do for team fighting to win from this far behind is definitely going to be tough, which is rough because they built this team composition for team fighting. But they can't even do that considering how far behind they are. Oh, Kubra, hot pursuit.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Alright, so Kubra does find the kill up in the top lane there. Was able to one-on-one Xenoblade guy. Here I am talking about how you're not going to be able to burst or Renekton. Well, remember when I said I don't mind being wrong? That's definitely one of those situations. But with Dragon 3 going over into the University of Waterloo's pockets, the small victories that St. Clair are starting to pile on here are still not necessarily going to be enough moving forward. About 7k or so ahead here in regards to gold. Lazi, Nesfo still basically non-factors here. We'll have to see. Cooper is coming down. Maybe they can make something happen. Prez is here as well. Here comes Kubra. Sends Shinoa at least right into the team. But look how long it's taking them to try and even take them down. He's not going to fall. First one down is going to be Miensfo. And short to follow is going to be Actiforce. Frez running for his life. But Shinoa too tanky and Dark-Axe able to deal so much damage behind them. The Gnar, Kubra, the only one left alive. And even from what seemed like the perfect engage, they focused everything onto the support, and it still did absolutely nothing. Nobody falls on the side of the University of Waterloo. This is probably an inhibitor at the least.
I like to see this pressure staying on. There's that inhibitor going.
Yep, going down. Now the Super Minions will be in hot pursuit of the St. Clair base. And we do see Actiforce thinking about maybe making the chase. Are they going to try and get scrappy with it? I really don't think they can win this still, even if the health bars of the University of Waterloo are sitting at half or less. Unless they can pick them off one at a time. We do see Actiforce still chasing down the Gator, chasing down Xenoblade guy. Gets Actiforce almost extremely low, less than a quarter HP. It's going to opt to get out of dodge after that. They get to keep their blue buff if that's a small victory, but another thing to take into consideration, if Saints do opt to get aggressive, there is a ward in the middle of their base. I can kind of see on the mini-map here. So if Super Minions start plowing into the base, someone could just teleport there and essentially win the game, backdoor style, if they want to try and get it.
I think Waterloo is looking to make that final run up, because they seem to be just gathering themselves together and preparing for the final run.
Yep, and this would definitely be the way to get it started. Putting a Baron buff on you, and then charging in with Super Minions. Oh dear, that is going to be a tough push to stop. Saints, I don't think know what's necessarily going on, but it doesn't really matter. I really don't think they can contest this anyway. So it's going to be going over into the pocket of the University of Waterloo. 10k in the gold lead now. Just absolutely brutal. Frez, they need him to stay alive. He's one of the few people who haven't been feeding their rear off this entire game. And he's going to almost go down, one shot away. And oh, a nice little use of the YNS, the Zaya ult coming out clutch. Kubra 3 and Actiforce are going to try and take down Xenoblade guy. But even Kubra, who's not necessarily even been fed, is going to go down. The scrappy fights, the team composition that the Saints have built, they can't even use it for its purpose. They're not in position to use it for its purpose. Meanwhile, the pick style coming out here from the University of Waterloo is just way too much to handle. Small victories here as Lassie gets his first kill of the game and gets the shutdown gold from Shinoa. But by this point, Nexus towers are getting pounded on. The top inhibitor is literally, like, you can just give it a slight tap with your toe and it'll go down, as we do see YNS finally finish that off. Baroned up minions, super minions now in the base. As much as I am an optimist in regards to how esports matches run, and I'd say it's not over until it's over, I would be a fool to think that this one probably isn't going to wrap up in the next 5 minutes.
The lead is just too great at this point, I think. I think they did try to pull it back, to try and end it, but I just think that they were too early on for them to actually have enough momentum that late in the game.
Yeah, because now the only momentum right now in the for the Saints is absolutely negative in the mines, and we're going to see possibly another play here. Shinoa, I mean, you're tanky enough to get away with this, so it's a-okay. But Dragon 4 is actually right here. Saints would have to contest this if they don't want Dragon Soul to go over into the favor of Waterloo. But I just don't think it's going to happen. Active Force's smites has been notoriously off, to say the least. And he's not going to be able to win that 50-50. And he's going to go down before the fight even really gets a chance to begin. Frez is off trying to defend the top lane. Lassie trying to defend from supers in the middle. And now you have Baron buffed, Dragon Soul buffed, University of Waterloo coming in, crossing all T's and dotting all I's. Kubra with one last stand, trying to make the combo happen here with Frez. Even though they actually pull off the combo properly, it doesn't matter. They just tickle them. And it's going to be the Nexus falling. Saints going to fall in a brutal display coming out here from the University of Waterloo, clutching up game number 3 in decisive fashion. Ooh, that one. I'm feeling sympathy pains from over here with how crazy that one went for the favor of the Warriors. And you called this from the start, where you said it just took one game to warm up, and then now Waterloo's going to just slam on the gas. That's exactly what they did. Like, there's no quarter, just constantly sending at its Saints.
Yeah, I mean, it really shows that that communication, when it's good, is very key to how we get through the game and bring it to the conclusion that we want, which is the win, of course. But I mean, maybe with Waterloo taking those solid picks in the second match, and then following it up with yet solid picks again in the third, it was, the way that they were going to keep it going, keep that pressure on the Saints for sure.
Absolutely. Like, just the champion picks were huge, and it allowed them to play that pick style, which then got Waterloo the lead. And not only, like we were saying before earlier in one of the games, but once they had that lead, they not only held it, but they just absolutely just shoved it down your throat. Like, there was absolutely nothing you can do to get back in. Just feeling like you're being choked out in your own base, and it was absolutely brutal but efficient showing coming out here from the University of Waterloo, and was quite the display. Now, thankfully here for the Saints, I know we're all still kind of recuperating after seeing that one happen, but still not the end of the line here for some Collegiate League of Legends action. Sure, Waterloo may have put on the clinic before, but we can definitely throw it back. Going to quickly throw it on over to the schedule for the matches that we do have coming up next here this week. Friday, 8 p.m., we're going to see some NECC placement matches for the Overwatch team. Their regular season, I believe it begins next week or the week after. Going to see a lot more of the Overwatch squad, get a sneak peek of them during these preseason matches. Saturday at 7 o'clock, it's going to be the R6 Collegiate Championship, Rainbow Six Siege action, Week 5 action there. Sunday, 5 p.m., we'll get the return of CSGO as we have some Face It action at 5, of course. Then, if you're here for League of Legends, the League team gets to recuperate and then take on the amateur scene as they go up against Upsurge Minor League or go up against somebody in the Upsurge Minor League. Not quite sure of the opponents as of this moment, or do I actually know it? Maybe I am a liar. It's actually the University of Southern California we get to go up against on Monday. So even though this is the amateur scene and not necessarily a collegiate league, we get to go up against a collegiate team, so that's going to be an exciting one there. And lastly, for what we have here on the schedule, but there's still so much more to come, Tuesday at 8 p.m., it's going to be week number 2 of NACE Counter-Strike action here on the Saints Gaming CA channel. So make sure you follow the Twitch channel. Make sure you follow us on Twitter as well to make sure you get the rest of the match announcements as they happen. Because starting on the 7th, this begins what will be the absolute nuttiness of 7 matches a week, 1 match every single day, at the very least. It's going to get exciting.
Yep.
Now I'm going to close things up real quick as the match, of course, was definitely one that shook us up, but nonetheless, still proud of our Saints squad to keep on fighting until the end, because those are one of those games that you just kind of want to flip a table afterwards for, if you know what I'm saying. But prior, still a big thank you to everybody for tuning in, whether you're here to support your family, friends, or classmates, or just your team. Thank you for tuning in to the broadcast and supporting their esports endeavors. Big thank you to the sponsors that make this all happen, of course. St. Clair College, the Zekelman School of Business and IT, PC Outlet, Tim Hortons, St. Clair SRC, and the St. Clair College Alumni Association. I also want to give a big thank you to Eileen for your very first commentary gig. Thank you for hopping on here. Look forward to having you back on again sometime soon if you want to take it up.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate all your support and efforts to get through my first cast.
Absolutely. There'll be plenty more to come, I'm sure. But with that, we shall close out for tonight. Again, thank you for everybody for tuning in, and we will see you again on Friday for some NECC Overwatch action. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.